Hey guys, this is Chetan for Gizmo Times and you're watching a quick comparison of the Vivo U20 and the Xiaomi's Redmi Note 8. This comparison is particularly because Vivo has now updated its chipset in the U series while Xiaomi did quite a compromise. Rather not a compromise if we compare it with the Redmi Note 7, but here with the Redmi Note 7 Pro, at least it's now a compromise from 675 to Snapdragon 665. Let's start with the design itself first. Both the phones have a camera bump on the back, but the bump is rather more prominent on the Redmi Note 8, where you can see that it's quite a lot, and that would always rock whenever you place it on a flat surface and use the phone. So that rocking would be more on the Redmi Note 8 when you compare that with the Vivo U20. But about the scratches and the fingerprints and smudges, both are the same in that way, because you'd easily notice them on the back of the phone. Both have their own unique way of showing off the back. While the Vivo U20 has the S gradient, it's a proper black here. Though there are again different colors of the Redmi Note 8 and the Vivo U20. I'd say design wise, I felt that the Vivo U20 is a little bit better. But again, both are the same if we talk about the resistant to scratches or resistant to fingerprints and smudges. So in that way, I would say that you'll have to always keep them protected, rather if you want to have it for a long-term purpose. And on the design aspect itself, if we talk about the thickness, both are almost the same. With the size of the phones, we can see that the height is more on the Vivo U20, and that is thanks to the fact that the display itself is larger. It's a 6.53-inch display on the Vivo U20, while it's a 6.3-inch display on the Xiaomi's Redmi Note 8. So Xiaomi has retained the same display size and the resolution from the Redmi Note 7 series, and that's what is shown here. It's an IPS LCD display on both of them, while it's a 6.53-inch display on the Vivo U20, and both of them have the same resolution, that's 1080 into 2340 pixels. We aren't sure of the protection that is given on the Vivo U20, while it's a Corning Gorilla Glass 5 protection on the Redmi Note 8. With the chipset, as said earlier, it's Snapdragon 675 on the Vivo U20, which is quite a good upgrade from the Snapdragon 665 that was present on the Vivo U10. But now it's Snapdragon 665 on the Redmi Note 8, which is a little bit of a compromise if you ask me. But again, we are talking about a phone that is not priced that good, and obviously with the benchmarks, it would be better on the Vivo U20 when we compare that with the Redmi Note 8. And even on the gaming options that are possible on games like PUBG Mobile, Vivo U20 should offer a better performance. With the UI, it's MIUI on the Xiaomi Redmi Note 8 versus the Fun Touch OS on the Vivo U20. So the Fun Touch OS has its own set of features. We can talk about the features here. It's Jovi Assistant present here, and also the Ultra Game mode, the Mountain mode, and also the other options such as the digital well-being, which is now a part of most of the phones, and also the system management features, where you have the S Capture, Smart Split, and those kind of features. On the other side, the MIUI here has its own set of features. Again, there's second space, there's also full screen settings, and dual apps, app lock is present. There are features for the gamers as well, and you have other features such as one-handed mode, and the notification light settings, and button and gesture shortcuts. And in a way, the features are almost the same. If you talk about the experience that is offered, it depends on the user preference, what you need and what you expect from a phone, and whether the UI is going to offer you all that. But I'd say that again, you would be, once you start using one UI or any of the phone's UI, you'll start adjusting to it and you'll learn its features and start liking them. So it's Fun Touch OS versus MIUI. Both of them are on Android 9 Pie. And even though the Xiaomi Redmi Note 8 is on MIUI 10, it should get the MIUI 11 update, and that should still be on Android 9 Pie and not Android 10. So the Android version is the same, Android 9 Pie on both of them, and we aren't sure whether they would be getting the Android 10 update in the future. With the cameras, there's quite a big upgrade here, or a big difference here. So there's 3 cameras on the Vivo U20, and there are 4 cameras on the Xiaomi Redmi Note 8. Now with the 4 cameras that are present on the Redmi Note 8, the first camera is a 48 megapixel camera, which is this one, and 48 megapixel camera comes with the GM1 sensor from Samsung. The big thing about that is that it takes the pixel binning technology and merges 4 pixels into one to come up with some good 12 megapixel captures. But in case you are someone who wants larger pixels or a larger resolution picture, you can still capture 48 MP photos with that same sensor present in the phone. Next, there's an 8 megapixel wide angle camera as well, which comes with the f2.2 aperture, and there's an f2.4 macro camera, there's an f2.4 depth sensing camera. So there's a set of 4 cameras that are present here, which is again a similar combination to how we had seen on the Xiaomi Redmi Note 8 Pro, but the 8 Pro had a 64 megapixel primary camera, the other ones were the same. on the Vivo U20 on the other side. Now let's talk about this. There's no Samsung sensor that gives you a large resolution here, but the base camera that is given here is an f1.78 16 megapixel camera, which does a decent enough job with the help of Snapdragon 675's ISP, and along with that there's an 8 megapixel wide angle camera with the f2.2 aperture, and there's a 2MP macro camera this time. So Vivo, rather than having a depth sensing camera, thought that it would be better to offer a macro camera, because there would be people who would complain that their phone doesn't have a macro camera while the others in the competition have it. So there's one present here in case you're interested to do those close-up shots, and the macro camera is present on both the phones, which is a common feature here, and 4K video recording is possible on both the phones, so there's no difference there. On the front, for the front facing cameras, there's a 16 megapixel front facing camera on the Vivo U20, while there's a 13 megapixel camera for selfies on the Xiaomi Redmi Note 8. So again, with the selfies, I would give a vote to Vivo and Oppo for the selfie cameras, because they're known to do that great kind of beautification, and also if you intend to do so, you can have the natural tones retained, and that is how Vivo and Oppo has been famous for their selfie optimization. But Xiaomi hasn't been lagging behind a lot, because they have been optimizing pictures especially for the Indian conditions, and that's where I'd say that again it's a neck to neck here if we talk about the selfies in these two phones. Now with the battery capacity or the battery life, obviously I would say that Vivo U20 is better, not just because of the capacity but also because of the optimization done by the chipset here. So it's a 5000 mAh battery present on the Vivo U20, while it's a 4000 mAh battery present on the Redmi Note 8. So with the battery, we know that it's not about the capacity, but still having that large capacity and also having a good support by the optimization on the FunTouchOS with the Snapdragon 675, obviously the battery life on the Vivo U20 should be better. But with the charging speeds, again it's the same. Both have a different kind of technology. While we have the quick charge support on the Redmi Note 8, we have the dual engine fast charge technology on the Vivo U20. Both support up to 18 watt of fast charging, and so with the charging speeds, I'd say that the Redmi Note 8 would charge faster because of the smaller capacity, but in the end, having a larger battery is what usually is an advantage for any phone over the other. With the connectivity options or the ports that are present here, you can see that the Vivo U20 has a micro USB. Though it supports fast charging, it's still micro USB here, and there's Type-C port on the Redmi Note 8, and there's a microphone, the headphone jack and the speaker grill all towards the bottom of the phone. On the right, you can see that there is the power button and the volume rocker button. On the top, there's a secondary microphone that is present on the Redmi Note 8, while there's no secondary microphone present on the Vivo U20, and there's also an air blaster that is present on the Redmi Note 8. So that's one difference here. And on the left is the SIM card slot. Now for the security options present on both the phones, you can see that both of them have the fingerprint sensor, but the Vivo U20 should have a little bit faster speed for the unlocking, and that's the case with Vivo and Oppo. Again, not just the selfie camera but also with the security options, they usually tend to be faster in the response and in the recognition and unlocking of the phone when you compare that to most of the other phones in the market. And with the face unlock, both the phones have face unlock with taking advantage of the front facing camera, and you can see that there's a notch present on the top of the two phones, which is kind of a similar notch. There's a U-shaped notch on the Redmi Note 8, there's a V-shaped notch on the Vivo U20. So that's a quick comparison of the Vivo U20 with the Redmi Note 8. I'd say that it's dependent on the price as well, but in case you are happy enough to pay that amount, the Vivo U20 is a better phone, and that is thanks to the fact that now the phone has a Full HD Plus resolution, which is the same as the Redmi Note 8, but it has a better performance. In case you're someone who is totally interested into cameras performance in this price range, I'd say the Redmi Note 8 is still a good choice, but otherwise the Vivo U20 is kind of a killer deal because it also has a better battery here. So this was a quick comparison of the Redmi Note 8 with the Vivo U20. I hope you like this video. If you do share and subscribe to Gizmo Times for more. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.